Well, hello, ladies, gentlemen, and everyone in between. I don't know if you guys recognize me because I've been away for a while. This is indeed the Lavender Lady, and I have the Wonder Lady, Faye, and I have Mrs. Snarky along with me, and we're here to be doing some discussion about a episode of The Place from NCG Studios that was aired last night that turned into kind of a dumpster fire. Uh, things went downhill very quickly, and it was quite a lot of fun, wasn't it, girls?
Oh yeah. It was lovely old time.
It was well earned.
Yeah. It was.
Yeah, things things were out there. How would we want to put it? Um, Misrepresentations. Um, let's see what else we've got going. I guess out and out lies as far as that goes. And
Yeah.
that this is referring to some of the things that were said in other shows. For example, I guess Dr. Jones likened atheists to the KKK.
Hmm.
I'm going to have to go back over because my feeble memory, as I'm getting old here, isn't working too well. I
Well,
don't
to be
remember the sound of
fair,
those words. I do remember him talking about comparing us to bigots.
yes,
That I
but
remember.
to be fair, it was during one of his tramadol rants.
I love it.
Funny
I
stuff.
haven't heard that in a long time.
It's like, how long can you? It's like padding in a paper. You know, when you're in college and you need to make like a 25-page paper, so you pad it with all kinds of filler.
Yeah, but if you really know what you're talking about, you don't need the filler.
Yeah,
Right,
and
And
it
right.
he doesn't have any substance.
filler word salad.
Yeah.
Oh my, because there's so much that goes on. I know you two have said quite a few things to me, and I've noticed a lot of them. And I try on air to hide these things, but I do notice the condescension. Um, I do notice the browbeating,
Mm-hmm.
and well, of course he doesn't. Um, why would he?
Well, that's why I told him to watch his own show and actually pay attention to himself.
Well, he
Yep.
didn't
Because
like
he may
that at
not.
all.
No, he didn't. Because I mean, it's okay. Last night he said something along the lines of, "My wife can walk by and say that she's hot." I'm not talking about individual perceptions here. I'm not the only person who's saying these things or noticing them. I
Well,
mean,
that
come on.
that's another of the. I think I said to you two that he harps on the same six talking points. That's one of them. The meaning, no, a usage rather than inherent meaning. And he goes through that thing about his wife in a party saying it's hot, and it could mean turn on the air conditioning, or it could mean let's go have some sexy time. And I've heard that one so many times that it's getting boring. And if anybody's listening in, I'm going to have to say, unfortunately, you're not going to be able to see that show. He pulled it as soon as it was over, and that's the second one he's pulled in 2 weeks.
And
Yep.
he rage quit it.
Yep, I'm really sorry that you guys can't see it because it might make a bit more sense to actually see the live issue than us just talking about it. And of course, um, this reminds me of something that's going on in Washington D.C. as we speak. He said, she said, she said, she said.
Yeah, but let's not criticize or investigate or anything, allow any evidence or. And there is evidence. We don't have to worry about him pulling that show because there's plenty of other shows that are still up, like the Ephesians one, where
Yeah, yeah. At least that
equivocated.
one's up.
He
No, there's
straight,
a yeah.
he straight up equivocated the word unknown, the word and concept, unknown to God. So if you believe that there are unknown things, then you believe there's a God. And he asked Aunt Diana, do you believe in the unknown?
Well, hell yes, I believe in the unknown.
Of course. Well,
I
then,
mean, there are things that are not known.
yeah, exactly. Because you're honest. He's not. He asked you a loaded,
Of course.
groundbreaking
Yeah, he wanted to
question.
equivocate that to his God.
Well, and also he'll be like, do you agree that this is what the Apostle Paul is saying? Well, of course that's what the Apostle Paul is saying, but that doesn't mean Apostle Paul is being correct.
Um, Ladies, did either of you tweet this out?
Yes.
You
Oh,
did.
I
Okay.
haven't. I
Yeah,
should. I'm sorry.
I just
I have to
tweeted the
do that as
link.
well.
I just tweeted the link. I didn't type anything in it because I'm lazy.
Well, so am I as far as that goes. Because I'll put that out. Who have we got? Oh, look, where are all these people coming from? I tell you put up a live stream, and all of a sudden you've got a whole shitload of people in here.
Hi,
You tell your
Shane.
people
It's
love you.
almost as if they like us, you know?
Yeah, Shane,
they do.
Mark, and Gage are in the chat. Hi, y'all.
Hi.
This
Do
is
us a
Lindsay.
favor and tweet this out. But I mean, okay. What do you call it? Jones is repeatedly doing these things. He's repeatedly saying what the apostles or Jesus intended.
Gage,
You
no, this is not
can't do that.
Patreon only. Go, honey. I think I interrupted you.
Um, no, it's the mind reading and stuff like that that's bothering me, and also like completely don't go too far with that concept. You know, don't think about it. Just stay with me in my narrative where I'm comfortable, so I can browbeat you into my conclusion, so I can look great on my own program. And I'm not going to do anything controversial or anything that makes me look bad or incomplete. You He asked for criticism last night. He got it. He got it.
And yes, Dr. Jones, I am not your what do you want to call it, toady or whatever. I don't always agree with you, and I saw the look on your face when I told you that last night. You should have known that by now. For the love of
Not
Saint
It's
Gulick.
because you admitted that in public. If you do it privately, he'd be okay, but you said it in public, and he just can't stand that idea, can he?
Mm. Well,
He's
we've
so
gone.
worried about his freaking image. I mean, it's like if the only thing he wants is an echo chamber, I'm sorry. Then
Nope.
Yeah, that
stop
whole
trying
bit
to
about
talk to
calling
atheists.
people trolls. Um, the folks that were in the side chat, I don't
He
think
was
there was
calling me a
anybody
troll.
in the side chat that was not there previously.
Hmm.
I mean, and
We've been going to
behavior was there to be observed, and it was not trollish behavior. I mean, this was simply disagreement. This was simply, well, yeah, it was calling on the carpet. Of course, it was. Um, it had. I hate to say this. I'm really sorry, guys. I try to be a nice girl. I was losing my temper. Finally.
Good. Good.
Yep.
Hi, Andrew.
You shouldn't have to be someone else's doormat. You shouldn't. And
And there
that
were. Go on.
and that he's treating you with zero respect. He condescends to you. He interrupts you. He asks you loaded questions to get you to, like a weasel, rhetorically agree that there's a God. That
I
is,
mean, okay, if you want the absolute truth, I believe that there is a God because everyone invents their own God. So he has his own God, and Daryl has his own God, and Bob has his own God. Well, there are three already. Now I have none.
I have a
I don't
cat.
need. There you go. Yeah, there. Sylvia is God around here. Uh, but I can see her. I can actually
Mm-hmm.
perceive the kitty and interact with the kitty. And
Yes.
where the hell is the kitty, by the way? Is she up to no good?
My mind is
Probably.
not in the gutter right now. Hi, Russ.
Hi,
Oh,
Ross.
it's Hey, hi, Russ. I didn't see
You
you
were
come.
there last night.
Yes, I was, and I saw that gloriousness.
Thank you.
I'm really,
Oh
really
my
sorry. I
god.
lost my
And
temper.
Faye, if you were in front of me right now, I would be bowing down to you right now because that was fucking amazing.
It was
Thank you.
epic.
It was. And it it's funny because every single time he gets on, I've watched whenever he does his whole entire, part where he's like, "Am I right?" He may not want to be called a a Christian or whatever it is that he has an aversion to it about, but he sure as hell acts like the preachers because he might as well just replace "Am I right?" with "Amen."
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
Because
know.
yeah.
that's exactly what preachers do. They'll sit there and they'll be like, and such and such and such and such, amen, and wait for the entire uh, people who are there to say amen.
Oh my God, that's what I was telling Faye yesterday. He
Mhm.
sounds like he's running a congregation
Well,
or a cult.
he does have a congregation. Russ, you were at least one of his post Sunday show lectures or whatever you want to call them. What what's your honest assessment of those? I'll come up with mine in a little bit.
I
Um,
think he's trying to create his own version of a church, and that
Yep.
he is trying to be the pastor of this, or well, not even the pastor, the head guy of this church. So that way, for whatever fucking reason, I have no idea why. Maybe it's because he likes the attention. Maybe he likes the people who will just sit there and listen and agree with him. But one thing that you do not, for the love of God, do, if you want someone to agree with you, invite people who you know are going to actively disagree with you on there. Don't do that, because even the times that I've been on there and he sits there and says something, I was like, that's stupid. No. And the very first time I was on, I told him, because I was like, we're going to have to agree to disagree right now. And he
yeah, I
was
remember
still
that.
trying to, he kept trying to say, it's like, well, you see what I'm trying to say? It's like, I don't care what you're trying to say. I'm telling you, if you want to move on from this, we will have to agree to disagree, because I'm not going to agree with you.
Yep.
Turning on the fan. I hope it's not going to make too much noise.
And I bet he is not used to being told, no, I don't agree. I bet he's
I,
used to just being surrounded by people,
Oh, yeah.
yes, men and women, who'll
well,
just
Mhm.
nod their head because he talks so goddamn much. Just on and on and on. And I just, oh,
well,
I
I'll
was
tell you. I think one of the reasons that I liked the shows with Aaron, especially, so much, is that Aaron wouldn't take his crap either.
mm,
Aaron was another one who would voice, "No, I don't agree with this," and there were some pretty heated discussions
Yeah,
on the shows that he was on.
the first episode I was on, he was talking about faith and whatnot, and I was saying, no, I don't agree with you about this. And he was like, well, you see, it's because y'all are going off of a false definition, or or y'all are going off a different definition.
Yes.
It's like, I don't give a shit what definition. I'm not agreeing with you on this. And if Aaron Raw was there as well, he would say the same thing. He would say, I don't care.
He
I
already has. He already
Mhm.
has said the same thing. No,
And I guess because Aaron wasn't there, then he decided, well, since we don't have Aaron here, maybe I can just sit there and do it with this other person. It's like,
but
no,
he forgets that I'm there as well, and then he didn't know your mind, but I think he's finally starting to find out about it. Um, yeah, okay. Well, I've said it before, and I think this is very much to his detriment because he hangs on to it so hard. Maybe he's saying this is what faith ought to be. Well, okay, fine. If that is what faith ought to be, that's what it ought to be. The
But
problem is we're dealing with what it is.
that's
We're
not
in the
what
real world.
that's not what he says though. He says this is
That's
what it
right.
is. And then he goes,
Right.
then he backtracks. He
Oh
backpedals.
yeah, I
No,
saw that so much last night.
yeah, no, that's not what I said at all. And I'm agreeing with you. And you're
Yeah,
just crazy.
his. So
I mean,
so I
Dr.
was
Jones, if you
listening,
happen to be listening in, sorry, but I mean, this is my opinion here. I think
and
we've gone a step too far.
and it was funny because whenever I was watching last night, um, before Faye got on, he would sit there and say, he goes, we have to, take it into context and get in the mindset of the authors of the scriptures, and this is what they meant. And so then when Faye gets on, and she was, and she beautifully and elegantly put that, each story before written down was indeed an oral tradition, and how oral traditions uh, do get things added onto it. And one of the most beautiful ways you can see this is in the epic poem of Beowulf, where things just kept getting added on and adding on, and now the Beowulf is like, correct me if I'm wrong, Faye, but it's like what, a good 100 and some odd different pages long.
I don't know the page count. I never look at the page count.
Regardless, it's something It's something that was just supposed to be a small epic tale, is now this humongous life story of this one individual, one
Right.
Viking. And so, it was beautiful that, that Faye is over here elegantly putting all of this stuff and saying that, you cannot, by any means of using the imagination, using your mind, and trying to get in the mindset of the authors, because you can't actually know what the authors are saying. And he just completely tunes that out and says, I've been saying this for years. It was like, bitch, you were just saying that we know what the intent of these authors were.
And he also
Yes.
claimed that all the biblical scholars are basically saying the same things. But the whole
Which
point with
they
the
don't.
Beowulf thing was, you don't know if the author was under duress and writing this. You don't know if they were commissioned to write a certain piece. You don't know if this is from oral tradition that was changed and changed and changed in order to help the person remember it and get it down on paper eventually. You don't know who was the editor, the original editor of the oral tradition, or anything else like that. You don't know. And you can't tell me that the mind of the author survived all this time and there's no documents about the mind of the author, but he will claim that he knows and that it was Paul himself. That's crap.
Yeah, he can read Paul's mind, even though he's kind of dead and probably never existed. We don't know.
Yeah, I don't know about Paul. I
Paul
remember,
is
and
one of those toss ups.
I wish I could find it again. There was a quotation that was attributed to Bob Price um, that went on something to the effect of, there is a body of letters that seem to have been written by the same person, and we might as well call that person Paul.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's the kind of Paul I would accept existing. We might not know all that much about flesh and bone human that was walking the earth, if there was one, but there is some sort of character, if you will, just like Jesus.
Yep.
If there was a flesh and
Hell,
bone Jesus walking around, were he to read today's New Testament, he would look at that and say, "That's not
What?
me. I don't recognize myself in there. What are you talking about? No, that's not me."
and you can even go with Homer, for instance. Homer is believed to not have existed at all. That he was just a pseudonym for another writer, in which case, awesome. That could be Paul as well. Paul could have just been the name of somebody who sat there and was like, "Oh well, I don't want my name known of any sort, so my name's Paul, and this is the
Yeah,
stories
but
here."
even in a case like that, you would have that person. I mean, just as there are two ways to refer to me. Although I prefer Diana, I was given the name Edward when those two brought me home. So you have, but there still is the one me.
Didn't they change the names of a lot of the people in the Bible to suit the English? And then Peter,
Yes.
Paul, Mary. I mean,
Yes.
these are
Yeah, I couldn't tell you about that one. I really don't know the languages that well.
Um, yeah,
because
because I mean, like, uh, Jesus's actual, if you were to do the English translation, would be Joshua, but it's like I don't remember.
yeah, Yeshua.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeshua. Yeah, okay.
Yeshua. Yeah.
Well, there's so many ways to represent that name anyway. Yeah, and then there are so many Jesi. I mean, which Jesus are we talking about? Are we talking? Could we be talking about Jesus of Damnius or Jesus Bar Jonah? I believe there was another one. Or was there
Or
even?
hell, even whenever Jesus was supposedly on trial, you also had Jesus of Barbarous that was there with
Yes.
him.
Mm-hmm.
And let's not forget that Christ is not a surname, but it is a title.
Yes.
Yeah.
Right. It is the anointed one, just as Meshuach.
hmm So, I mean, come on. But his claims are ridiculous. And the way he browbeats,
Mm-hmm.
he'll, Daryl
Andrew,
is
if
sitting there just going, yeah, okay. Do you agree, Daryl? Sure.
and Andrew, if you're talking about the show that we're talking about, unfortunately, you can't watch it. Dr. Jones pulled it as soon as it was over.
Yeah, which is to me
To me, that's a
a
cowardly move.
yeah, it's a sign that he is exactly what Faye said he was.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Because if you
completely
are
wrong.
if you are not afraid of criticism, you would keep that up. You would look at it, and you would constantly rewatch it, and then sit there and go, okay, well, I see where I did, where I said some things that were wrong, or that I contradicted myself later on. Let me go ahead and go through, the other shows I've done,
Yeah, you
and
could. There are two things you could do. Both quite honestly, you could go through and say, okay, here's where I screwed up. Here's where I screwed up. Or you could say, no, I didn't screw up here, and I can back up why I didn't screw up here. But in both
mm-hmm,
cases, you need that original. You need the
mm-hmm,
original to go back to. Otherwise, it's just he said, she said, she said, she said. Just like that some are claiming that the investigations going on in D.C. today
Oh
are.
yeah, the Kavanaugh. Shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was watching that earlier today, and oh my god, that was heartbreaking.
This is how I feel right now. I'm just saying.
Oh.
Dr.
Oh,
Dr. Jones, this
yeah.
wait a
dedication.
minute.
I mean, I was talking about it with you two ladies before we went on air. I suppose I should say it. It's not going to be very kind, but lately, in the past couple of months, especially when I'm looking at those post-show lectures that you've been in on, Russ, there
Mhm.
are two words that come to my mind, and those two words are David Koresh.
David Koresh.
If you remember the Waco incident.
Oh
Yep.
yeah, I remember.
Well, I did tell you before, Diana, that I think he's trying to start his own little cult. Yeah, we're not really Christians, but we're not atheists either. We're just gonna go through the Bible daily and find out how we can live good lives. I mean, he made the story of what was that story last night? The one where the guy has to kill his daughter because she's the first thing that
Oh,
walks out of his.
Jephthah.
He was doing a
Yeah,
Christian
Judges
apologetic
11.
for that. He was doing a Christian apologetic for that, making God the good person and making Jephthah or whatever like the greedy person. And the fact that his daughter died because of his greed, that was
I
the
don't know.
lesson plan.
That might be one way to interpret it. I mean, there are so many ways you could interpret that, and it's a case of there's no God involved. Those are some people writing some stories. For fuck's sake, it's a Hebrew version of Aesop's fables.
It is, but you also have to remember that God said that he wouldn't accept any more burnt offerings beforehand.
Yeah, and
It
I
is
forget where that was.
inconsistent.
I forget where that was,
Yeah.
where he said that he wouldn't accept burnt offerings. Thanks, Andrew. Yeah, Judges 11:33.
Yes, Stephen. It is Westboro crap.
Hi, Casey. Spooky. Yeah, we're venting.
Oh, but you do know what I mean, though. I
Yes,
mean,
I do. I do.
I really have to wince at the Christian apologetics.
Well, as do I, because it's so unfortunate. I've heard you say it many times, and I do think it. Why is it always the Christian holy books? It cannot be simply because the people he's dealing with, his congregation, came from Christian backgrounds. I mean, even if that's all they know, why not introduce them to other books? Why not get a little bit of a mix in there? Um,
You can mix anything you want. You could be like Heaven's Gate. Like
with
you could think Paul was an
Without the
alien, and you can read his mind because he's an alien, and you have alien
Special
DNA.
knowledge.
Yeah, you have special knowledge because reasons.
as
You
soon as
keep
somebody
using-
claims special knowledge, that's when I decide, no, you're not trustworthy.
Right? Talk to me. And let me continue to talk and over everyone because
I
that's
think
what I
he
do.
keeps using the word synthetic wrong too. It really bothers me.
How is he using
Okay,
it?
okay. I'm curious. How are you interpreting him using that word?
Oh, that's the thing. I don't know how he's interpreting that word. It's just like, well, that's synthetic, and I'm thinking, do you actually mean organic?
It's in flux, though.
Hans, you're not the only one. I'm not the. Oh my word, there are more people. So I'm not the only one. Hans just said, "Feel yes some moments, but feel it just getting worse and worse." Yeah, this is what I'm feeling. I'm wondering what's going on over there in Pensacola, um, because this is, especially over the last 2 or 3 months, is I've seen it going downhill, and I don't get is the man going senile? If that's the case, maybe he's got an excuse. I don't know. I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't see any to give.
The thing is,
because there
he
isn't
keeps
anything to
changing
give.
the topic. If you confront him on literature, he'll bring up linguistics. If you confront him on, he's constantly doing this shell game, and if you talk about something specific, he has to go to metaphor because he can't talk about the specific thing. He has no argument.
But
He
One of the
metaphor,
has
biggest
no
things.
argument.
but metaphor
Well, the one,
is the most important. It's just as important as everything else.
but one of the biggest things that really pissed me off last night was the fact that so he's over here saying that the entire Christian community has been reading this as metaphor, and that atheists are reading it as literal. It's like, oh
He's
really?
blaming us. Yes.
It's like, oh really? It's like, because whenever you actually sit there and go up to people and say, do you believe the Bible is true? It's true. It's accurate, and it's true. They say yes. So you're like, okay, so then what do you think about this? That's when they sit there and they take a step back and they say, oh, that's just metaphor.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, well, what about this? Oh, that's just metaphor. Okay, what about this? Oh, well, that's just metaphor. It's like, okay, well, if you are going to say all this stuff is true, and yet it's metaphor, then what can we know to be actually true, instead of just somebody speaking in riddles?
And I don't know, could I have done a better job the many times I've tried, or at least the many times I think I've tried, when he goes on about how the atheists are doing the whole literal thing and they're the literalists. And I'm trying to say, look, we're not the literalists. We are up against the fundamentalists, the hard right in the U.S., who are the literalists. We are we are on their ground because that's where we have to start the fighting. And I don't think it get. Was there a better way I could have done that?
I don't
Well,
think
the
he'd
thing
let
is,
you.
is well, the thing is even if, because it's not just the fundamentalists who are taking the Bible literally true. There's other sects of Christianity. There are a few sects that do take a lot of the Bible as metaphor, but it's just the thing is that there are so many different sects, and not all of them agree on every aspect of it, which is why there's so many sects of Christianity. So even if that were even if what even if every single sect of them agreed that it's 100% true and that it's none of its actual metaphor, even if you were to have sat there and told him that, he would not let you have that.
Well,
He would
Okay.
literally keep going. He would literally sit there and try to change shit on you.
Snarky yesterday made a comment that Dr. Jones argues like a Muslim fundamentalist.
Yes, he does.
Mm-hmm.
And he uses the thing. Well, if you knew Greek and you knew the context, because Paul
Yeah.
was a Greek who had a Jewish mind or a Hebrew mind.
Oh
So
god, that
we have
Hebrew
to
mind thing.
we have to somehow psychically understand Paul and where he was coming from and every little detail of the context that we can't figure out. There's no possible way for us to know. We have to understand all that. Otherwise, we're misinterpreting the Bible, and it's the same thing as what they do in Islam. You can't read Arabic, therefore, you're
You
reading the
cannot know the
Quran.
Quran.
You
Yeah.
cannot read Arabic, so you cannot judge the Quran.
Exactly.
Yeah. And he's really big on that. And the other one he's big on, and this one gets under my skin, is you haven't spent 35 years studying this the way I have, so you cannot know anything.
So he's
Well,
the authority.
no, I will never be able to know anything, I suppose, right? I don't have 35 years to study on that. And of course, to that he has said, oh, that's right, absolutely. So I
Wait,
guess I'll never know. I can I
he's
can I can at the very least study the people who have studied.
he studied one book for 35 years.
That's pathetic.
Pathetic. Read other books. That might be your problem.
That's why I also did what I did with the word virgin last night in the Hebrew.
Yep.
And he could not defend himself. He could not defend that
And I
because I
oh my
was
god.
right.
Yep.
But
Oh,
the sad thing is not only could he not defend himself, but then he is looking into the camera with a smile on his face, like he is so like oh poor naive, and
mhm.
that look on his face really irritated me because he was looking at it as if he was so much smarter than you were, and that you just couldn't see it.
A note to not a theist over in the side chat. Anyone here aware of Digital Hammurabi? I would love to see Dr. Jones try to hold his own with them. I am indeed familiar with Digital Hammurabi, and I don't know if he could get. I don't know if he could get anywhere with those two. I think they would own him within the first minute and a half.
Yeah, because Dr. Josh, he can read Hebrew and he translates it all the time. So, like,
I'm trying to remember. Did you and Matt have them on your show?
yes,
Yes.
I thought so. I thought so.
yeah, they've been on a couple of times, I think. But they're awesome. Go subscribe to them. They got a good channel. They
Yeah,
just
I have indeed subscribed. I just have to do some binge watching now.
they recently reached 1,000 subs, so yay! They're even like to 1,200 now. I think.
Wow.
Awesome. It's awesome.
About 1,100 more than I have, right?
Hey, same.
Definitely more than I have. I only have.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Preaching to the choir here.
I have to get to work and put some shit out. I know I've had a bad couple of months, guys, and I know it. And I think that hasn't helped. I have a feeling that the episode of Major Depression that I've been going through, this coming from NCG hasn't helped that, and it hasn't helped what's going through there.
Oh,
And
I have to
maybe
say-
I don't know. I'm going to let
Not
you
your
guys.
fault.
I'm
Not
going
your
to let you guys think about it and give advice if you will.
Look,
I'm seriously considering resigning.
one thing I do
I
want to
would.
make clear: this is not your fault. Don't you dare blame yourself for this.
No.
Don't you dare.
I mean, there have been times where people have said plug your channel, and you end up plugging him instead. You've been very altruistic with this group, and I know you've believed in them, and I know you support them, and blah blah blah. But and you've given it your best, and you've been you've been
Yeah,
a
but I
good
don't know that
friend
I
to
want to
them.
do that anymore.
I know, but what I'm trying to say is you've been a good friend to them, and they don't deserve it.
They
Yep.
don't.
Agreed.
You
100.
know, work on your own channel instead of theirs, because you have more to say than he does.
Yes.
I just have to get to work saying it because I'll
And
tell you, yeah.
we show up for you. We don't show up for him.
Yep.
Well, I guess I'll take that as a compliment.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Oh, yeah.
screw you.
I mean, I don't like to say it myself because it sounds self-aggrandizing. Although I have had the thought. I'll go ahead and say it. I wonder if I am responsible for 2/3 of his viewership by now.
That
think
you're
so.
responsible for, yes. It's okay to be proud of yourself. That's okay.
Mhm.
I mean,
It's okay. It's
if
okay.
if I do resign, I'd like to see what happens.
It's okay to stand up for yourself. It's okay for you to not only desire respect, but to demand it. That's
Yeah,
fine.
and
Oh no,
one of the things.
I cannot demand respect because I do have to
Mm.
earn it. But if I do earn it, and as long as I do, I should receive it.
From your friends that you have earned, well earned respect from, you damn right you better demand it.
You do. Yeah, the thing is you've already earned the respect of them over there, and they still treat you like garbage. To be honest,
Yes.
I mean,
yeah, and
I gotta
I
admit,
see it. I do. I really do.
and one of the things that pissed me off about that depression stream
Oh.
was fucking Bob.
Oh. Don't get me.
Oh my god!
I wanted to reach through the screen and throttle him, but go
I'm
on,
glad
and I've
I
got some
missed
stuff
it.
to add at the end of that. And I'm going to
Because-
fill my coffee cup, by the way.
because he's going to sit there and in front of people who have already said, hey, we suffer from depression. We know what the fuck we're talking about because this is our fucking shit. This is what we fucking go through. And he's going to sit there and say something saying that you're not actually going through depression.
What?
This is or
What?
that you can
Yeah.
that you can
Yeah.
sit there and get that you can actually cure depression. And I'm like,
No.
are you fucking kidding me? No, this is not how fucking depression works, you fucking moron.
Well, he's a life coach. He knows better.
Yeah, he was a life coach and who obviously never even took a psychology class because he had the audacity, the fucking gall to say that psychiatry and clinicians are not on a consensus about what depression is. And
That was really, really, really breaking my heart. And the thing is that after the show, Bob was going on about, well, okay, I shouldn't have said anything because there was the people in there who were currently being treated for depression, and that's why I shouldn't have said anything. And I'm thinking, no, 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 Bob, no, but that's not why you shouldn't have said anything. You shouldn't have said anything because you're full of shit.
you shouldn't have
And
said
you don't know
anything.
what the fuck you're talking about.
It's dangerous to give medical advice that you don't know shit about
And then
on
with the
a live
show,
stream.
and you can
You are-
see that. You can see this one. He referred to the end of the show and was telling me, and it's really good to see that near the end of the show, you were coming around to what I had to say.
No.
What?
No
Yeah.
one was coming around to what you had to say because what you had to say was completely and utterly fucking dangerous.
Near the end of the
You were
show,
going-
he was near the end of the show, he was feeding me loaded questions, trying to get specific answers that he wanted to
And
hear, and that's what he was referring to. I want to throttle him. Oh, oh man.
And so
I'm glad I missed that one. I wouldn't have been able to contain myself.
You
yeah,
can
no,
actually see it.
so
It's still there. No, no, I'm sorry. It's been pulled. That's right. Good thing.
so for anyone who doesn't see it or anyone who doesn't understand who may come across this stream and not know exactly what depression is something, for starters, that you cannot cure, and it is extremely dangerous to be going around like what Bob was doing and saying that you can be cured from it, that it will go away. And what
I
he
don't know
does,
any
what
responsible clinician who says that.
no. And the thing is, and I've said this a few times as well to people. So there are two separate types of depression. You do have what one can call seasonal depression, where a certain time of year or a certain
Yeah, I know that one.
month will trigger a depressive episode where you're in your lows, and that will go away. And some people, you can also lob in people who are just depressed because of situational
Oh yeah,
things.
what they used to call situational or reactive depression. Personally, I'm not sure that should be called depression.
No, this is, and I said this on the show. I said, oh well, I wasn't on the show when I said this. I was in the chat, but you can equate that with just sadness.
Yes.
Situational depression is indistinguishable from just pure sadness. And then you have actual clinical depression that is something that you will not and cannot be cured of. You can manage it, and you can do your best. If you know what triggers the depression, you can do your best to avoid those triggers, but you will not be cured of it.
Yeah.
There's no way, shape, or form that you will be cured of this. And to tell people that you can be cured of it is fucking dangerous, and you're going to get somebody who is needing their medication to go off of it because you said that it was fucking curable, and they're going to sit there and get in a low one day, and they will commit suicide, and that death is going to be on his fucking hands.
Agreed.
Exactly. Don't
And
talk about shit that you don't know about.
And if you go through a depressive episode that is more than 6 months long, you need help.
Yes.
Yeah, tell me about it. I mean, I've been going through a depressive episode that's lasted what? 30 years.
Yes,
No, I'm
and
not kidding.
I was actually proud of myself the other day because I have never opened up because I haven't been to any kind of therapy. I tell people I'm undiagnosed depressive because I'm not diagnosed by any professional, but I know that I have depression. And I finally came out the other day and told my mom that as young as 9 years old, I can remember having suicidal thoughts. And it was a moment that really hit me hard because, I don't talk about my issues with anyone because I don't want them to start to pity me or feel like I'm damaged in any way, shape, or form. But we were talking about my sister who is actually going through therapy and is working out her own problems. And I said I really should go see a therapist myself. I was like, and I know for a fact that they will probably diagnose me with depression. And so it was just a moment for me that I was happy because I actually told my mom, and I was always afraid of how she was going to react because I knew that she was going to blame herself in some way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
and I didn't want that to happen. I wanted her to know that this is solely me. This is my shit. No one caused this. This is just my shit that I'm going through. And
Aww.
so, and so I want,
Frustrated? I'm proud of
yeah,
you.
Yes. Me too.
thanks. And so I told my fiance because there's only two other people who know, and that's my ex-wife and my fiance. Both of them and now my mom are the only ones who know that I am suffering from depression.
And now the entire world because you're on the
Yeah,
internet.
right.
Just
Well,
saying.
those in my personal life, you know who I am. Uh,
Just
those are the
teasing.
ones.
Just
Yeah.
teasing, sweetheart.
Uh, Geek Room says what we flabbergasted about.
Oh, the place.
Yes, we're definitely flabbergasted about
That,
that.
Yeah.
that place is fucked up.
I'm a little less flabbergasted because I eviscerated the guy.
Oh, she was brilliant. Brilliant.
Thank
I
you.
was so proud of you. She called him pathetic, and it was epic. And
Mm-hmm.
we should all send her chocolate.
Yes.
Yes, send the diabetic chocolate. No, only kidding. Yes, send me chocolate.
We
Yes.
should all send her sugar-free chocolate.
Oh, I
With
want the
coffee
real stuff.
chips.
I want
oh,
the real stuff.
oh, I know, right?
Yeah, I was getting ready to make some chocolate coffee chip cookies, and unfortunately, they're not going to be consumable anytime soon because I don't know if you guys noticed, but Kate's procedure is delayed.
Oh, yeah, I did notice.
Yes,
I feel bad for
That is
her.
so
I watched
fucking
her.
sad.
Yeah, I
It
watched her video.
is. The equipment broke,
Yeah,
and so yeah, I feel
it
bad
could be
for
weeks
her.
before anything happens, and it's God. I knew she was looking so forward to that.
Yeah, and she was also like prepared. Because you go through when you hear you got to have surgery, you kind of just like get scared because it's risky.
Oh hell yeah!
All emotionally
Mm-hmm.
and mentally prepared for this procedure, and that was it. I just feel so bad for her.
I mean, for
There
what it's
are
worth,
no
Kate, we're
words.
pulling for you.
Yes, we are.
There are no words to describe how I feel.
Yeah.
But what do you call it? Dr. Jones, I think you know, I'm really hoping that more people take a leaf out of my book and start calling him on his crap.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not saying, oh, pick on him because he's a theist or anything. No, no. give him some good, solid critiques, and I mean truthful and useful. Because I'm sorry, he isn't a mind reader. He's not scrying the mind of Paul.
I don't know how anybody could know any of their minds. Nobody was writing down what they were thinking at the time, and would you even trust it?
Is
And
he
if
like
anybody,
John D and what was the other guy? Oh my god, the Scryer guy, and they were talking to the angels and shit.
Oh, I don't know.
It was
I I don't know those people.
oh my goodness, it's funny.
What
It's
is this
It's
a
very
is this a
ridiculous.
much.
cult that exists somewhere?
There was this guy named John D. He worked in Queen Elizabeth's court, Elizabeth the First.
Okay, I was going to ask which Elizabeth.
He was her astrologer, and he was really into this whole occult stuff. So he hired this guy named Kelly. That was his name. Because he heard he was a good scryer and he could scry. So he had to have somebody do it for him so he could talk to angels. Like
Oh
the
dear.
Okay, I've found him in Wikipedia.
yeah. So they started talking to these beings and they got a language. They got a language with syntax and grammar and rules and all this other stuff from them. The angelic language or the Enochian language is what they called it.
Oh, is that where that crap came from?
Yes.
The one that LaVey picked up on for his Satanic Bible.
Yes, and Crowley talks about it as well. They use it in the occult. I've used it. The Enochian language. Anyway, that's what Dr. Jones was doing. He was calling on the angels and getting messages like Kelly's scrying for John D.
You see, God revealed it to him in such a way that he could understand.
Oh, only him though.
Yeah, in
Only
such a way
him.
that he knew it was true.
All the Protestants are wrong. All the Catholics are wrong. Everybody's wrong but me.
Yeah, and he was talking about Sai, by the way, on the show, and how even Sai wasn't as horrible to him as everybody in the side chat was. And I beg to differ. I've seen the show, and I've seen the footage that Eric Hovind shot after the show, and the words were not the same, but Sai was at least as disrespectful as he thinks everybody in the side chat was.
So Dr.
Well, we all know Sai.
Dr. Jones is just the contrarian Christian. Nobody understands him. He's emo as well because he won.
Pretty much.
Oh, poor me. I'll just go eat worms. I'm so misunderstood and so edgy and deep. Maybe not edgy, but at least deep.
No. Edgy is edgy, and I miss edgy.
Oh, I do too.
And it's funny because Dr. Jones, the way he presents himself is as someone who is over here in the field doing all of these translating and doing all these different things, and he has and the way he presents himself, you would think that every professional in the field comes to him to figure things out because it's just the way he presents it is like as if what he is saying is true because, and this is something he's been saying since the 70s and since 76.
Well, he's been in.
The problem is though, I just have to correct you, Diana. It wasn't everyone in the chat. It was me.
No.
He said I was horrible to him. And that my behavior isn't... I forget.
Well, wait a minute then. Why would he single you out? Because you weren't the only one calling him out on the carpet.
When he was reading the comments and calling that person a troll, it was me.
That I saw, yeah. And it's
when
like,
he
why
said
should
that,
he be doing that?
I was the one that came on the show and gave him a hard time and blah blah blah. So that comment is mine. He's mad at me, probably because I'm a woman, and that's why I'm
Wouldn't doubt
worse
it.
than Cy and everybody else.
It's not that you're just a woman. You're a woman that is willing to challenge him and be strong.
And a woman who has showed that he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about.
Amen, brother.
High five.
So I do want to make something very clear for a moment.
Yes, dear.
Edgy emo, I did not mean anything like bad when I was saying he's an edgy emo. I was thinking of my own daughter when I said that. Because his behavior reminds me of my emo daughter, and I'm sorry, it just does.
Oh man, what was that last? What was the last tweet you put up about her? About little Snarky? I found it so funny that it was something she said turning back on itself or something.
Oh, I don't. There's so many. There's so many.
My brain is mush.
Yeah, mine too.
And then he had his little boyfriend guy out there in the chat over there just chit chatting, saying Dr. Jones has been saying this for years. Dr. Jones has been saying this for years. Yeah.
That's the first time I remember seeing Tyler, so I don't know where this guy's come from.
I think it was a sock of some sort. And
Dr. Jones has been saying this for years.
He was such a hilarious, obvious parrot. And when I said something about Dr. Jones saying that atheists harbor bigots, he turned it around and he was like, Dr. Jones did not say atheists were bigots. I'm like, did you read what I said? And he's like, yeah, don't put words in my mouth. I'm like, dude, that's legit what you just did to me.
Mm-hmm.
and then it was funny because he says, whenever Dr. Jones had sat there and said that he never once said that we could know the intent of the people, and
I didn't let that go.
No, and then Snarky said, "Oh yes, you did," and then of course Dr. Jones's parent was like, "Dr. Jones never said that," and I sat there and commented saying, "Dr. Jones literally just got done saying that at the beginning of this show that we need to understand that we look at the script, we look at all the text, and that we know the intent of the authors. We can get in their mind and we know their intent."
Mm-hmm.
It's like he literally said this.
He said that,
and he was like,
he said
and Tyler did not.
Tyler didn't what?
Tyler did not answer. He did not. He's like, well, maybe you just misreading, or maybe you misheard him or something. But he just would not address me directly. I was like, yeah, that's what I fucking thought.
Yeah. Who the heck was it that wondered if Tyler was actually Dr. Jones' wife? I know Rhonda, and
it was probably Daryl, because Daryl doesn't say much.
That's definitely not Dr. Jones' wife. That's not Rhonda, because Rhonda is the good little subservient Christian girl who doesn't say anything important and just has the little coffee clutch with the other good Christian girls. I've been on Rhonda's show, I can tell you.
I called it, didn't I, Faye? I've never met this woman, but I called it. That's what he's used to. He's used to a subservient. Oh, of course, John. You're just so right all the time.
If you actually watch their Sunday morning show, when she's actually on with him, they'll be sitting there talking, and of course Jones does the majority of the talking, and he will sit there and go, well, Rhonda, what do you think? And she's like, I think you're right about this. I really do, and yada, yada, yada. It's like, of course you think he's right, because he's your husband, and you're being the good, faithful Christian woman, what the good, faithful Christian woman should do, and agree with her husband.
Yeah, it reminds me of have you ever watched Jack Vanapee?
No.
Jack what?
Doesn't
No.
sound familiar.
Jack Van Impe. Okay, well, he has
Jack Van P.
Van Impe with an
Van
I. IMPE. Impe. He has a show. It's been going on since the 80s on TBN at like 1 o'clock in the morning. He gets on there and he talks about, oh, well, when there was an earthquake in the Philippines, and you know that that's just a sign from God that the apocalypse is coming. And
Right.
he has, it's great. You should YouTube him sometime. He's hilarious. He's the
Okay.
Alex Jones of end times. So,
You were
and of
talking
course-
about television, and I was going to say, I guess that's a good reason I don't have television. But you say he's on YouTube as well.
I'm sure he's on there. But anyway, he has all this merchandise and these books and stuff that he sells to the sheep. And so his wife is like, "Oh wow, Jack. Well, I believe that all the information is in Jack's book, and you can purchase it here." And she's just
Oh, for the love of Saint Gulick.
it's just she's like a Stepford wife, but worse. She's got
That's
Yeah.
awful. But I have to say
Unfortunately,
one thing.
Unfortunately, I have found him on YouTube every 2 weeks.
oh
I have an important point though, and I'm going to go back a couple episodes and see how long he's been saying that he employs science in order to read the Apostle Paul's mind, and that's the scientific method he's using.
Yeah, I was a little confused on that one because I think I was thinking linguistics when I was
I think
thinking
so.
that I was disagreeing with you, Faye, on the show.
Well,
And I think you had said at one point that, yes, linguistics is a science. It's literature that is not, right?
Literature's
Yeah,
an
no.
art.
Yes, I
and-
want to make sure that I've got that all, because this sort of thing confuses me. I'm accustomed to the hard sciences, things like physics and biology, the very empirical.
I mean, it's fine if he wants to call literature a science. It's not, but it's fine if he wants to. But he then has to know that he's not using science in the way that it's supposed to be used.
Well,
And
didn't
that-
people at one time call alchemy a science?
Yeah, but that
And I suppose that
has
he might
actual.
be using the word in the same way as they were, because they were.
alchemy,
Well,
the way that alchemy was it was
is
a
science.
prelude to science. It's what led to
Chemistry.
method. Yeah.
Alchemy led to chemistry, which is why it is a very important thing that it had happened back in those days. And so it is a form in itself of science, because when you actually were performing alchemy back in the day, you were not actually using any kind of witchcraft like you would expect from the Harry Potter or whatever. You were actually using elements and things like and chemicals and things like that, and you were actually using science without actually realizing that that's exactly what you're doing. And
Now,
so it is a science, but
the other thing I'm looking for is, would Dr. Jones be closer to spirit science?
Well, just because you have a method, okay, does not mean it's the scientific method.
no.
You cannot make predictions. It's not reliable. There's no way to apply that aspect of
Now,
the method to this.
I enjoy writing. I write all the time. I have several unfinished novels that I'm in the process of always writing on. And it's just that's going to be something I'll always be doing, is always writing. And as much as I enjoy literature, and even if I were to go to school and become a literary critic or whatever, it's not going to be a science, regardless of how much I enjoy it and how much I love it and how much I do it. It will never be a science. And I'm never going to be using the scientific method, because in literature you cannot make predictions. In literature you cannot set up hypotheses. You cannot then test them. You cannot repeatedly test them.
No.
And whatnot. So
all you can do is put it up to your data points and use the methodology that they use to.
I can probably figure out, okay, this is written in Greek, this is probably Old Greek, and then send it off to other people, and they will be like, yep, that's Old Greek.
Yeah.
That's about it.
If anyone wants to do any quote-unquote literature analysis, look me up.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm serious. Absolutely. I'd love to learn analysis of literature because this is where I am so pissed off at myself.
This is one thing I'm actually good at.
Yeah, I did not pay any attention in high school English.
Faye, I'm not going to let you get away with that. You're good at a lot of things, including being a great friend.
Thank you.
Of course.
Yes.
Faye is wonderful. Yay, Faye! Yay, Faye! Yay, Faye!
This is something I have a degree in. How's that?
Gotcha.
Okay.
Expertise.
I actually have upper education training in literature.
You know, I'm just thinking, unless you did do it, it's almost too bad if you did not do it, that you did not try for a PhD, because you would have been a great PhD in English.
I was offered a teaching job at my college if I had gotten it. And I was still trying to get my bachelor's when they said, come back and teach.
Man, okay, so you're getting your bachelor's. You don't have your bachelor's yet.
No, I have
and they're saying, come back and teach.
Yeah.
And this is how good they thought you were even then. Okay,
Yep.
we've got somebody who's got some stuff going for her here.
And I'm not bragging.
I didn't think you were.
I'm actually very good at this. I'm a member of Sigma Tau Delta.
It's funny because, you know, has anybody seen the second Boondock Saints or either of them?
No.
Boondocks. Okay. That's
Saints with Norman Reedus and
It sounds familiar. Why does it sound familiar?
It's a movie about these brothers in Boston who end up going to kill all the mafia members.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes. Well, the second one, because the way the first one ends, they go off to Ireland, and they stay there for a while, and then the killing of a priest who was a good man brings them back to Boston because the person who killed it was trying to frame them for it, and so they were not going to have that. And it has the best entrance whenever this priest goes to talk to them, because the signature move that they have is they cross the arms of the people they killed and put pennies on the eyes to pay the farrier. And they are religious. They are religious, but because they're Irish, they're Catholics. But that part you can get past because of all the killing that they do. And it's amazing, but
you can get past the religion because of the killing.
Yes, in my opinion. But and they don't really do much as far as religious goes, except for the fact that they have the crucifixions tattooed on their back, and of course they have this prayer that they say every time they kill someone. But anyways. Whenever they come into the second one, this priest comes up and tells them that. They walk away from him, and so then when they go and shave and shower and get all their pretty much their assassin gear up, and they go back into the house, and he's like, "What are y'all gonna do?" And he throws pennies onto the table, and he goes, "Every last motherfucker who's involved in this." And then they go off back to America. But there's a FBI agent who gets assigned to this. And it's funny because when she gets assigned, someone's like, he's like, with all due respect, he goes, "Why the fuck the feds involved?" And she's like, "Whoa, fuck." and she has this horrible Southern accent. She goes, I would expect a goddamn or two, but this is a fuck situation. And so eventually she gets to this point where she sits there and goes up to them and says, she's like, but since we've gotten through the fuck barrier, they got me here because I'm so fucking smart that I make smart people feel like they are retarded. And then she goes on, that's Faye.
What?
Oh my god!
What? No.
That's Faye. Yes, Faye. That's Faye. Whenever Jones had did his little thing last night, that was Faye. Faye comes on and she's like, she just sits there and blows it out of the water, and she's like, I'm so fucking smart that I make smart people feel they are retarded.
It's
Thank
true, though.
you.
You had that motherfucker speechless. Speechless. It was
He couldn't
And then
argue
he
because
covers
I
it
was
up.
right.
And then he covers it up by saying, I'm just enjoying listening to you. It's like, bitch, you don't know what the fuck to say to what she just said.
Oh,
And-
my
I love the.
part.
I love the. Oh, I'm just going to have my friend read my long-winded claim paper that's prettily written for a while to sort of declaw the atheist bitch who's
Oh, what that thing he
losing her
had me
temper.
read? I
Yeah.
don't get why he had me read that. I don't get it. I don't get
Because
it. I
I'm
don't
not
get
going
it.
to. He didn't think that I would attack the paper or his writing skills if it's read by my friend.
But you did.
Yes, I
But
did.
the thing is that it wasn't even that. It was the fact that he was trying to connect this with that he's been saying for years, since 76, guys. Since 76.
He's been,
That
yeah.
the Bible was written by a bunch of different groups of people.
Yeah, like
And
he's
that
the
he doesn't
first
deny
person
that.
who said that. Right. Uh-huh.
And he was like,
Yeah.
and I'm saying the exact same thing that you're saying, and I can prove it because here's something I wrote in 1976. Well, no, like you haven't been saying that on these live streams.
Mm-mm. Not at all, actually.
No.
Because we have quotes.
But but he's been saying this since 1976, guys.
Oh yeah,
We're just too stupid to understand.
Understand?
Yeah.
His genius mind. We're just small, feasible humans, mortals.
I
that
don't
we
know how
can't
to
see
read.
I've
No, that reminds me of the commercial. Begging strips. Give me what's in the bag. I can't read. I don't know.
Yeah.
Reminds me of Wayne's World. I never learned how to read.
Oh, I just love that special pleading with, oh, atheists don't know how to read the Bible, and most Christians don't know how to read the Bible because they can't read Greek. And because of that, you have to listen to my interpretation of the Bible, and therefore you can have the truth.
Oh, but he said it in such a beautiful way. If you've been listening to the Trump guy lately, remember when he said this is the wettest it's ever been from the standpoint of water?
Yeah.
The guy was like, that is
from
how
the
it interprets
standpoint of water.
from the standpoint of Greek.
From the standpoint, you have to study.
This is the
and
Greekiest.
I was mean because after he's saying you have to study or you have to know these words, blah blah blah, and I'm going, actually, if you want a really good critique of yourself, ask a child.
Well,
The
one of
teacher learns as much from the student as the student does from the
Mhm.
I
teacher.
remember you saying that. Yes.
And
Yeah.
he did not understand that concept. He says
No.
he did, but
He says, I agree.
Didn't.
That was the only thing he had to say about it. He goes, I agree. Or no, he says, I don't disagree with that. He doesn't agree with it, but he just doesn't disagree with it.
The one thing that we were talking about just a couple of minutes ago, that's the one that's been on my mind for quite a while, where he says, you don't understand the Bible because you can't read the Greek and the Hebrew. It feels to me like he's hiding behind the Greek and the Hebrew. That
He's
the
misreading
thing
that.
you cannot challenge me because
Yes, that's why I compared him to an Islamic apologist.
Hmm.
Because
Well,
we
and one
can't
of the
read the
things
Arabic, therefore. But the
we
thing
can't know what the
is,
Quran says.
but the
The
it's
Quran?
true.
You
The
you make
Quran.
you make too good an
You
imam. You realize that, Russ?
you don't
Russ
you
the
don't
imam.
you cannot read the Arabic, so you cannot know what the Quran says.
You're too good
So
at that.
You know what you need? You need a bevy of pretty girls all around you, and then you can do the next Harum. Yeah, yeah.
Get your
If
72
anybody
of them.
knows RJ,
Get 72 of them.
Well,
yeah,
the
there you go.
the
I
72 of
can't
thing
them.
even
There
do
you
it the
is,
go.
way RJ does it with something like, yeah, yeah.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah. But Dr.
RJ
Jones
down there.
misrepresents the Greek all the time.
Hmm.
And he doesn't, well, one, if he's just saying it, then people can't Google it because it's spelt weird. There's a
Yeah,
Yeah,
how many
and
lot to
people even
do with
have
the
the
I
Helvetic
mean,
extent.
Slum?
hell,
What?
it's just like that thing that Snarky sent to tagged us in. So you like, for instance, the dirty jokes in the Bible.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like for instance, I'll just take one of them. So you have King Solomon, who has an entire book or entire section of the Bible where it is just a bunch of different poems and stuff about his junk and his sexual exploits.
Yeah.
And on one of them, it's supposed to be in the words of one of his lovers that he had had before, where she talks about where the modern day translation says his chest of ivory. He's like, but when you actually read it from the original language that it was written in, it's not chest. It's usually like waist or loins or anything below the chest area. You know, as far as it goes up is the belly,
Ding
and
dong.
it was meaning his schlong, and and so he is the type of person who will sit there and say, well, it means the chest. They were talking about his chest, and it's like no, it clearly means this, and he's like, no, because my version, the way that I interpret this is that it's the chest, so it's the chest. That's
Well,
Pretty.
that's
exactly the
very
way
fundamentalist
Jones
of him.
goes.
I mean, he can be an iconoclast, which is what I kind of liked when I first came on board. But anymore, he's got his own thing going, and it's if you differ from this, then you're nothing.
Pretty
I
much.
thought he was talking about a process. That whole process, not a conclusion thing. All I'm hearing is conclusions lately.
Well, because he's interpreted the Bible, and he has the right interpretation. So all you're going to get from him right now is conclusions. That's it. Because he
Yeah,
has all of the answers.
I don't know. I really don't. As I say, it's. I think I'm going to have to ask for it at the very least a leave of absence. I'm
I
this.
would just not.
I don't blame you
I'm
I,
this
because
close to resigning.
I would just not go back. Period. I mean, you owe them nothing.
you're not paid.
No, I'm not.
You're
You
not
see,
paid.
like a
You're not.
freaking employee, you're not even allowed to curse if you want to. You're not allowed to speak freely, and you're forced all the time to say, "I agree."
Dr. Jones curses.
Yeah, he does,
Uh,
but you're not
there's
allowed to.
well, number one, I'm a woman, and number two,
Oh.
I do kind of self censor. And I, for
I
some
don't.
reason, I prefer, for the love of Saint Gulick, to
Yeah,
fuck.
but he made you change shit to crap last night.
Oh well, that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do remember
I'm
that.
sorry. I would have just said no. That's not happening.
Fuck
I speak the
you.
way I speak. I speak the way I speak. If you don't like it, then I will leave. but I'm not going to change my verbiage because it
Makes you
doesn't
uncomfortable?
appeal to you.
You want to know why I haven't joined in a live stream on the place?
Why? Because you'd start swearing like a sailor?
I would tell him, fuck you. You already think I am a Jezebel anyway. What's the point?
My biggest thing now is he sat there and said that he doesn't that they don't allow people on who are not on camera, and I'm like, I've been on twice and I've never been on camera.
Yep.
How
And
the
Faye was
fuck
on
are you going to
previously.
tell me? And how the fuck are you going to tell me that you don't allow that? It's been y'all's rule for a long standing time now that y'all don't allow people who aren't on cameras.
Yeah, he's
The thing
full of
is
shit.
the thing is we aren't theists. We are not in, a lot of us are not in positions where we feel comfortable with letting everyone around us know that we are out.
And how many times have I told him that there are those among us who have a lot to lose if
Yes,
they
and
reveal who they are?
they have a lot to lose and very little to gain.
Yes.
And I don't need another stalker.
And those were the words I used to Dr. Jones many times. I mean, Faye is not coming on because she's dealing with a stalker. She does not want to put herself out to say, "Here I am, come and get me." Um, I wonder. I wonder how he would feel because, yeah, he's complaining about you when he's saying not coming on camera. I didn't hear him complain so much about. Well, he did complain a little bit off camera about Russ. I want to know what he would think of Notjob, who not only cannot show his
Be
face,
on camera,
but
but also
cannot.
has a voice modulator.
Yes, yeah.
I have a guess. I have
And
a
the
guess
thing
to
is
how he
that
feels about it.
oh, he would probably feel fine in front of Notch's face, or in front of his avatar. He would feel fine in front of his avatar. But the very second Notch is off, he'll have some choice words to say. And the thing is I don't give a shit.
Unfortunately, he's done that quite a bit. The way he's talked about Aaron, I don't know if Aaron has any idea of how Dr. Jones has talked about him off camera. I do because I've been there.
Oh no.
Yeah, Dr. Jones calls Aaron a great friend.
Yeah.
Not so much. Not so much.
I had no idea. I'm not surprised.
No, I'm not either.
And it's
He is the definition of hell. I'd even go as far as saying that he's the definition of being Southern Baptist. I grew up Southern Baptist, and we are prim and proper in front of the congregation and in front of everyone. But behind closed doors, whenever it's just us and our select few people who are within our circle area, it is the complete and exact opposite. You will sit there and go to church with the with people, sit there and have nothing but polite and kind words to say to their face, and then the very second you get in behind closed doors, talk about them as if they were just the most vilest people you've ever met.
hang on. I'm gonna reset my lowers, so I'm gonna go off camera for a second. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
That's why you're seeing my avatar. It's not that I'm trying to hide.
Hey, I'm
No.
hiding because I'm fucking Jezebel. That's
No, but a lot of what Dr. Jones has had bad to say about Aaron is the fact that Aaron identifies as an epistovist. Well, so do I, guy. And he's not. I don't understand atheists is another thing that comes out of his mouth. The kind of I don't understand atheists, the same kind that mothers say about I don't understand my
Child.
disobedient kid. Yeah.
Mm.
Well, over and over and over again, he was asking, why are they saying these things in the chat? And we answered him, and he did not acknowledge the fact that he was answered.
Well, because he can't say on air that that he's wrong, because he's not. This is his show. He has to be proven right. I could have a weekly show myself, and if I am proven wrong, if I sit there and say, how, why are you saying this thing? It's like, because you are wrong. Okay, show me where I'm wrong. And if I'm shown where I'm wrong, and I am indeed wrong, I will sit there and I will stop and I will say, you know what, you're right. I apologize. I misspoke. I didn't know what I was talking about. And let's continue.
There we
But he
go.
can't do that. He cannot do that.
Much better.
I guess the
Jones
thing is,
cannot do that
information-
because he has to seem as if he's an intellectual. And whenever he is intellectually pwned, he can't accept that.
I have one complaint
Yes, dear.
about intellectuals and academics, or people who claim they are. If you can't put terms in layman's language, I have no respect for you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, Laura, yeah, when you said Aaron is so far above him in intelligence, okay, are you ready for this? He's going on and on about how we cannot understand the Bible because we can't read the Greek the way he can and everything else. He also goes on about how Aaron has no idea of biology or taxonomy.
What?
Okay.
I am virtually
Okay,
quoting
this
him
is
here.
oh my god, this is great because okay, if you want to sit there and say that he doesn't have a degree in that field, you would indeed be correct. But this man has spent over what is it, 2 decades now working
Yeah, at
in the
least 20
field.
years.
He's been working at least 20 years in the field of taxonomy.
And
you tell him
he was reading for a degree at one time, but he had to drop out because the scheduling was just too crazy.
yes.
He's helping
And
with
so-
the Creative Life Project.
Yes, he's working with the phylogeny project.
Yes.
And the thing is to tell this man who has been spending 20 fucking years where other people have came up to him who actually have degrees in the field and have probably said, does this look right?
But Russ, he's been studying the Bible for 35 years. And you know the Bible gives you all knowledge. All knowledge is in the Bible.
Oh my god.
Because
Yes,
I
the
mean, if he's
same
gonna,
Bible that says that bats are birds and are locusts. The
Yeah.
same Bible that doesn't even know what the fuck taxonomy is.
and if he's going to tell me, for example, that I cannot read the Bible because I don't know Greek, and if he's going to have a point about that, he also must know that he cannot have a point in criticizing Aaron on his ground, because a taxonomist, Dr. Jones, is not and never was.
I
Oh my god.
have done work in Middle English. And when I did the quote last night at the Canterbury Tales, one of Apro showers sota, the drop of marches pressure to the rota, I know what it means, and I also know that you know what it means because it sounds close enough to the modern English.
Yes.
However,
Oh,
yes.
I'll put my thought on hold. Continue.
However, every now and again, while in Middle English, I will run across a word I don't know because it's been out of use and is contemporary to the time,
Yep.
and I
Yes.
have to look it up. Because I
Yes.
have to look it up doesn't mean I can't understand what is going on.
But
Hey,
see,
Beach.
that's
Yes.
the difference because you're honest and Dr. Jones isn't.
But, Faye, when you began reciting Beowulf,
No, that's the
No, no.
Canterbury Tale.
oh, I'm
Yes.
sorry, Canterbury Tale. When you started reciting that, that reminds me, and I know that you were not doing going to describe. But that reminds me of the way Dr. Jones will begin reciting the first verses of Genesis. He does this
Oh.
over and over and over and over
Yes,
to
that's
sound like he knows something.
that's why it was so fucking brilliant.
That
Because
was
the
me
fact that you
shoving it down his
can,
throat.
And
the
I
fact
knew
that
that.
you can take the Bible and you can, and it doesn't matter where at in the Bible, if you have a Bible that has the common usage of words today, then you will read through it and it will all flow just like the way Faye said was talking about the Canterbury Tales.
Mhm.
It will all flow the exact same way. It doesn't matter where at in the Bible you get it. You can sit there and close your eyes, open your Bible, flip to a certain page, and then stop right there. Go at the top of the page and read downwards, and it will flow the exact same way. And it's because of that. That's why this thing was so recitable, and that's why it was able to be written down, because these were oral things that got stuck in people's heads, that they're like, finally, once people could actually start writing, finally someone says, you know what, let's fucking write this down. And so that's
Yeah,
when it
might make it
started.
easier to remember.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, go
it's
ahead.
not just that, but if poetry is, it's kind of like as what are one of those tried expressions that rhyme? Um,
Haiku. No, rhyming, you said. um oh god.
a stitch before nine saves time, or something like that. Something that
Yes,
rhymes
yes,
with that.
yeah, I understand. It's
Yeah, there's a name, and I
God,
don't
it's on the tip
remember
of my
the name.
tongue now. God
It,
damn
it's
it.
I can't remember, but it's a way of actually remembering how to say something, and that is the reason
Yeah,
why we have poetry. It's the way to remember
this.
something word for word. You have a beat.
Hmm.
You have those
It's rhythmic.
tones, the rhythm, everything helps you recall the vocabulary and the pace and everything. And
This is
that's
why.
why
This
we
is.
use it. That's why it was in
Yes.
place before we were writing things down.
Hmm.
And that's the whole point. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
poetry. It's
which
bad
is
That's why.
poetry.
That's why
which is
I
what.
was able to learn the president's names, because we did it in the tune of a familiar song. I don't remember what the tune is from now, but that's the way we I can still say the president's names in the exact same tune,
And which is why
because
it is
it's
so much. It is so much easier for me to learn um, the the opera as it is sung, rather than the play upon which the libretto is based, because you've
Mhm.
got that musical thing, you've got the rhyming, you've got everything going. I can still sing Figaro at this point, but to read, the libretto as it was written, I couldn't do it.
But
No,
I mean, like
I mean,
Kedmid's hymn is Old English, and anyone can
mhm.
remember that if they know how to pronounce the words. That the opening is Nu Shulin Herion Heafan reaches Ward.
Oh, by the way,
And
That's
who was looking for the word? Is it mnemonics?
oh, that's it. Thank you. Yep,
mnemonics. Yes, that yeah.
yep. I mean,
Man,
Fred
you
came
can
up
sit
with
there.
that.
Poetry is easier to memorize. That's why people come up with those little
yes.
sing-songy things that they really like,
Hmm.
to help them remember things. I before E except after C.
Hmm.
Especially when that shit doesn't
Except,
work.
let's see here,
I
and
know
then
it
whenever
doesn't
you,
work.
well, and then you have the whole entire thing. It's like I before E except after C, except for an A, like neighbor and way.
Yeah,
And weird is just weird.
Yeah, it's
but I
just weird.
mean, you could go doubt though the stars are afire. Doubt that the sun doth move, doubt truth to be a
Oh,
liar, but never doubt
never
love.
doubt that I love you.
I mean, it helps you remember the line.
Oh my god, I love that line too.
To die, to sleep, perchance to dream. Hey, there's the rub. For in the sleep of death, what dreams may come.
And
We
there's the
know
one.
these things. It's metered. It's measured. The 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 cadence of the line actually brings you to the conclusion once you get it in your head. You
And
can't
then
do
there's
that with a shopping list.
the one that
Nope.
breaks my heart, the one that Beach just mentioned. In all the world, the poppies grow, but in Flanders Field, the poppies blow.
Oh, I love that. But I have
Yeah.
got one for
Wow.
Dr. Jones. One may smile and be a villain.
Well, I've got one for his teachings and his things, and it's been written on a bathroom stalls. Um,
For a
and
good
it
time called
goes
Dr. Jones.
no, no, it's no. That's for a terrible time you'd call Dr. Jones. Thank you.
That's true.
But no, it's let's see here. Here are set all brokenhearted because I came to shit but only farted.
Oh.
It goes back farther than that because I don't know if you've ever dealt with them. Have you ever dealt with coin op restroom stalls? The original that I
Yes.
saw was here I sit brokenhearted, paid my dime and only farted.
Aww.
There's
But
more to it too. There's other ones where and it then goes into the reverse. It's up there and saying that you like something about
Hey, Brooke's here. Hi, Brooke.
that you almost made it.
almost made it.
Yeah, like you were going to the stall and but you almost made it.
Yeah,
Meaning
that
that
kind of
you
almost made
yeah
it. You shit your
yeah
pants before you could. Yeah.
yeah before you could get to the stall. It goes on like because there's like it starts off with that one and then it goes on to the other one. But
One of the times when I was homeless, I had that happen to me once or twice, and that was not fun.
I'm sorry, my mind's on Jack Kerouac.
Oh, jeez. That's
I
an
love Jack
interesting place in
Kerouac.
your mind to be.
No, because once my mind goes into quotes, it's the OCD.
We were talking about Kurt Vonnegut before we started the stream.
That's true. I love
Oh,
Kurt
my
Vonnegut.
favorite fiction author.
Yeah.
Mm.
And like I
But
said,
I
he wrote that memoir, and it's hilarious.
I've got to read that. I've got to read that, and I've got to
one
reread
of
um the
one
Feynman
of
autobiography.
one of my favorites would probably be besides J.K. Rowling, of course, because
Of course.
her well J.K.
I
Rowling
love
is
her.
yes, and she's the one that got me into wanting to write because the Harry Potter series is what made me want to become an author.
There's one line in
Um,
the Prisoner of Azkaban that just blows my mind away. But go on.
which one? Which one?
Where the feet take up the weight of the teachers and they move out of the room. I can't quote it, but that exactly because I haven't been working on that one as long. But it's a beautiful line, and every time I read it, it makes my heart just fill because it is beautifully written and expressed.
Yeah, and then she was one of the writers that whenever it was funny because whenever they did the play of Cursed Child, and people for some stupid fucking reason were in an uproar that Hermione was played by a black woman.
Yeah,
She
who
took up to
cares?
Twitter. She took up to Twitter and says, "I ship it." I was like,
Aww,
"Yes."
I love
I was like, "Yes, that's awesome."
That is awesome. I like that.
But anyways, it would probably be Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. I absolutely
I
love his
love
work.
Sir Arthur Conan Doyle.
hmm
But
And one of my favorite things about him is the fact that he it was funny because when he decided to end the the Sherlock
Holmes.
Holmes series,
Mhm.
and he kills off Sherlock, and he was like, and he goes into starts writing other short stories, and everyone was in such an outrage over it. They were pissed
Yes, yeah.
off and they wanted more, and he was like, "Fuck, fuck, fuck."
Not
And
only
so he was
that,
like, "Yeah,
he also said, "Do with my character as you will." Basically, write your own fan
hmm
fiction.
yeah." And so it is amazing. It was amazing how he handled the entire situation. And if I'm not mistaken, it's either him or it was the same guy who wrote the Savage Tales of Solomon Kane. But one of them, whenever they died, they actually had a poem that they left behind. It was his dying poem. Like I said, it was either Doyle or the same guy who wrote Solomon Kane, which I can't think of his name at the moment. But it was something along the lines. He goes something about retire. Uh, the ending line was something along the lines of how his lamp has expired, and that was it. And it showed that he was a writer until the end. And I was like, oh, that's amazing.
Now you were talking. Somebody brought up poetry or poems. I will throw in something here really quickly as soon as I can do this. My absolute favorite poem, and I cannot recite it. It has to be shown in print, and yeah, that is it right there. If I can, I'll present this to everyone if we can see it. The E. E. Cummings poem.
May I feel, said he? I'll squeal, said she.
Pardon me.
E. Cummings. May I feel? Do you know that one?
I don't think I do. Um.
It's naughty.
Okay. Okay. Yeah,
It
but
is so naughty. And I actually suggested someone read that, and they
A
did.
leaf
But
falls one
it's
illness.
May I
it's
feel, said he. I'll squeal, said she. Just once, said she.
it's
Said he.
all on. This one is all on the subject of loneliness.
Oh, read it.
It says a leaf falls one illness.
Okay, you have at first one, and then parenthetically a leaf falls, and as you see this here, you see, for example, how you can see the leaf twisting as it falls, where AF and FA change places, and then down below you have I-ness, which are ways of describing loneliness. I remember this from high school. This is one of the few things I remember from high school English, and it struck me because it's the greatest way I ever knew of expressing loneliness. A feeling with which I have absolutely no familiarity.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
My mom used to love the poem by Robert Frost, the one "Stopping by Woods on a Snowy Evening."
Oh, that one just devastates me.
Yeah, and she had it memorized when she was a kid. She was brilliant. It's a
Yeah,
really
let's see.
there's a lot of poetry out there that just gets you on a level that
Mhm.
you want to escape, but
Here we go.
you can't deny it, and in some level you recognize that it's beautiful.
And then, of course, my favorite poet is Prostetnik Vogon Jeltz.
I like William Blake.
Group, I
I
am
have
poor
his
thee.
illustrated poetry book.
I had that and I loved it. Oh, the Songs of Innocence and
With all
Experience.
his original illustrations.
Oh, his illustrations were just the best.
Interesting color choices.
And then
Yeah, they really are, especially for the time.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
I'll
Wait,
put
let's
up
see if
with
we
one
can
more
have
poem from
here.
me, or one more bit of writing for me, and I won't quote anymore. The only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to live, mad to talk, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time, the ones that never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, burn, burn like fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding like spiders across the stars.
Oh, that's gorgeous. This Kerouac.
Yeah.
How about this
That's
one? I mean,
nice.
tell me if is this beautiful or is this not beautiful? Oh, Freddled Gruntbugly, thy micturations are to me with big yawning as plurtled gabble blotchets on a lurgid bee that mortiously hath blurted out its ersted chortles grumbling into a rancid festing, confectuous organ squealer drowned out by moaning and screaming.
Oh my god.
I freaking love that.
Now
That's
the
magic.
chirping sleigh Chinocker crustals are slurping happily up the axle glurts, and living glurples fart and stipulate like jowling meat and liver slime. Group, I implore thee, my funking twirling drones, and
Oh,
hopelessly drangle me with crinkly bindle wordles, mashal bird, or else I shall rend thee in the gobble warts with my birtle crunch and see if I don't.
I fucking love
I used
that.
to I used
That
to
is from
dabble in some
Hitchhiker's Guide
poetry
to the
myself.
Galaxy, by the way.
There's a poem called The Higher Pantheism in a Nutshell, and it's by Swinburne. Is anyone familiar with this work?
No, I need to find it.
Here, let me I don't know this one by heart, so let me okay, here it is. Um One who is not, we see, but one whom we see not is. Surely this is not that, but that is assuredly this. What and wherefore and whence? For under and is over and under. If thunder could be without lightning, lightning could be without thunder. Doubt is faith in the main, but faith on the whole is doubt. We cannot believe by proof, but could we believe without? Why and whither and how? For barley and rye are not clover, neither are straight lines curves, yet over is under and over. Two and two may be four, but four and four are not eight. Fate and God may be twain, but God is the same thing as fate. Ask what ask a man what he thinks and get from a man what he feels. God once caught up in fact shows you a fresh pair of heels. Body and spirit are twins. God only knows which is which. The soul squats down in the flesh like a tinker drunk in a ditch. More
Oh,
of
man.
the whole than a part, but half is more than the whole. Clearly, the soul is the body, but is not the body the soul? One and two are not one, but one and nothing is two. Truth can hardly be false if falsehood cannot be true. Once the mastodon was pterodactyls were common as cocks, then the mammoth was God, now he's a prize ox. Parallels are things. Oh, parallels all things are, yet many of these are askew. You are certainly I, but certainly I am not you. Springs the rock from the plain, shoots the stream from the rock. Cocks exist for the hen, the hens exist for the cock. God who we see not is, and God who we see not we see. Fiddle we know is diddle, and diddle we take it as date. That's it. And
I
it's
don't know, man.
fucking gorgeous.
Well, this hen certainly isn't for the cocks. I'm sorry.
I
Just thought I'd
fucking
throw that spanner into the works.
love that. No. I love Swinburne. I just love him. Love him, love him, love him, love him, love him. I'm gonna go back in time and hug him. Sorry.
So what about songs?
What do you mean?
Like, what do you what are some of your favorites?
Oh,
Oh
I
my
have too
word.
many favorites and too many genres.
Well, then, which ones do you like?
Hmm.
That well, let's say it like this. Which ones do you which ones do you like that you can actually relate to?
10cc, I'm not in love.
I've never heard of them.
I'm too old.
10cc.
You're
Starkey
too
would be
old.
better for this one.
What is it?
Your favorite songs.
Oh,
That yeah, that you personally can relate to.
Metallica Bleeding Me.
The one that never fails to bring me to tears is CSNY, Find the Cost of Freedom.
I'll send a link in the little. Or I guess I could read the lyrics. Everybody else has read stuff.
It's well, before you go on with that one, have any of y'all heard of Hobo Johnson?
Sounds familiar.
He's a new kid. I have mixed feelings about this guy because on one hand, he makes songs that can relate to people who what's the word? Who are going through some shit in their own lives. But the songs are terrible completely. Like, as far as, like, for instance, he sings off tune, and out of nowhere he'll just start yelling,
Oh,
and
that's great.
then he'll go back. But it is because like there's one song in particular that I like that's called Romeo and Juliet, and he starts singing and he's talking about this girl, and he goes he's like, this is a song for all the girls that I'm gonna date, and the ones that the future ones that will hate me, and the ones that will leave me, and he goes off on this song, and he's saying that, like, for instance, he said that that his singing and the being off key is the reason why she's gonna leave. And it's like, and it's gonna be, and the fact that that we lay on the twin size bed that I've had since I was 7. And he's going off on this
I know
entire
that
song.
song.
Yes, and then he sits there and he says, he he's talking, and he goes, he's talking to Shakespeare, and he goes, "Dear Shakespeare, can you write a happy ending, please?" And the ending line, the ending part of the song is what really gets me every single time, because the actual instruments start to, you don't hear them, and all he says is, he goes, "Dear Mom, conversations from the couch have never been the same since you looked Dad in the eye and said things are about to change. My mom came from Adam's rib, but things started falling apart when the snake came back and asked my mom out to dinner, and my mom said it was nothing." And he goes, "But nothing it's like, and nothing had Dad starting shout and something about how Dad likes to shout, and his shout starts has things having the dressers and lamps knocking to the ground." And he goes, "And you cover your ears, but you'll always hear the sound." He goes, "Because that's the sound of people falling out of love." And it was like, holy fuck, dude. And it's such
That's
a good song.
amazing.
Yeah, and it's raw because it's this kid I literally think, and I explained this to people because people were like, "Oh, he just sucks," and I say I understand why people think he sucks because of the out of tune singing and the just off the wallness of the songs and how some of the songs can be cringy. Like for instance, another one that I like is called Peach Scones, and he's literally talking about this girl who who he's just obsessing over, even though she's in a relationship with another guy. And the entire course is pretty much he goes, and I think that I'm in love with you, or maybe I'm just so tired of being alone. And he goes, the second one sounds a lot more worse than the first one, but I don't know. And he goes off on this entire song, and it's really really cringy, and I understand why people don't like it, but I sat there and said this literally sounds whenever you listen to his music, it sounds like someone who's going through shit that he could not fucking handle, that his brain could not handle, and so he had to find an escape, and he might have started off just by writing these one-liners, like for instance the whole entire line from the first one I was talking about, where he says, "Dear Mom, conversations from a couch have never been the same." He probably started writing those down and then said, "Fuck it," and started writing music about it. And it literally, the way he performs it is in a way that you can connect with, because it's like all your emotions that you're feeling whenever you're not what's the word, when you're not in a right frame of mind.
Yeah.
That's how it feels. And so every time I listen to his songs, like I said, I have mixed emotions, because I literally cannot take the off tune singing, because he'll sit there and he'll be like, "This is down Romeo, and every guy you'll ever hate," and then I'm like, oh my god, I can't, my trying to get into the song, I can't take it, but at the same time, I fucking love it, the way he does these songs, and so it's something that y'all should, I would recommend people listening to.
Oops,
That's awesome.
I opened the link in the live chat, and it took away the live chat for me. But I'm fixing to have to go anyway. But I've got this open in another window, so I can. Wow, well this is Crosby, Stills and Nash. Send me a link, Russ, and I'll watch what you're talking about.
That's the one I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, I love
I'll,
Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
I can definitely find Hobo Johnson.
You might like Dr. John's Making Whoopee too.
Oh my!
Well,
Dr. John.
Making Whoopi's always fun. Anyway, thanks for having me on. And yeah, Dr. Jones sucks.
Yeah.
And I love you, Aunt Diana, and I hate the way he treated you, and I hope you don't tolerate it anymore.
Yeah, because you know what? It's not worth it.
No.
You've done more for his channel than your own.
Oh yeah.
I mean, you know what? We would rather watch you than him.
Yeah, make stuff on your channel, and we'll help you out. I try to do whatever I can. I can't always make it. But
well, I'll tell you what. What if I have a weekly show where I let you guys see my pussy?
Meow! Meow, meow, meow!
Always down for that. Always down for that.
Speaking of, where is my pussy?
Well, thank you.
I haven't seen her lately. Oh, there she is.
Thank you,
She's
sweetheart.
asleep.
I hope y'all have a great day.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for stopping
And
by,
I
Snarky. Thank you.
Yeah, and Snarky, I just on Twitter DM'd you the Romeo and Juliet song.
Awesome. Thank you, Rose. Y'all have a good day. Bye.
You too.
Bye.
Moo.
But do you know Dr. John's? About Dr. John? The Making Whoopee song?
Yeah, I have a copy of it.
Okay, good. I love that song. I mean, it's older than Dr. John, but I like his version of it.
Just the way he sings it. He's got that style about him.
Because that song was in the Fabulous
Whoopee.
Baker Boys, by the way.
Say again?
That song was in the Fabulous Baker Boys.
Okay, I don't know that one. You're talking a film.
Right.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't get out of the house much. It's been a long time since I've been in a theater.
But I also like the song Say We're Sweethearts Again. Do you know that one?
It's not striking any bells.
Um, some people might know it from watching Batman, but it's actually really, really much
Wait, which
older
song?
than that.
Wait, which Batman?
Yeah.
I don't remember which Batman, but I never knew that our romance had ended until you poisoned my food, and I thought it was a lark when you kicked me in the park, but now I think it was rude. That one?
Oh my, that sounds
I
almost
never
like
knew
something
that
Tom
you and I
Lehrer
were
would have come up with.
finished until the bottle hit my head, and I tried to be aloof when you pushed me off the roof. I feel our romance is dead. It would have been so bad if
This.
you had not if you had told me that someone had taken my place. But no, you didn't even scold me. You just tried to disfigure my face. You'll never
Okay, so
know. Go ahead.
this is probably going to be the Batman, the second Batman, which had Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey in it.
Uh-uh.
Okay, definitely. Okay, Jim Carrey played the Riddler or the
Yeah,
Joker?
he
The
played
Riddler.
the Riddler. Uh, Tommy Lee Jones played Two Face. If it wasn't
No.
that one, then it was the first one with Jack Nicholson playing the Joker.
Nope. It was a
No, that
Batman
no
cartoon.
no. The first one. No,
Oh, it was a cartoon.
It was cartoon and Harley Quinn sang it on a
Okay.
piano while yeah,
no,
shenanigans were
the
going on.
Jack Nicholson playing the Joker. That would have been the second Batman. The first Batman film starred Adam Weston and Burt Ward,
Yeah, no, I don't count.
1966.
I love Adam West. I do not count his Batman because his Batman to me is not a true representation of Batman. What happened was during that time, during that era, the people were like, "Oh, these comics are so dark. These are supposed to be for kids. They need to be lighter." And so Adam West gave it a more lighter feel to it. But
Camp
which is
would be
why
the
you
word.
have yes, which is why you have the things like the shark repellent and all this, where he's moving around with this bomb in his hand, trying to find a place to land. He goes,
Yes.
today's a bad day to dispose of a bomb or something like that.
Yeah.
And all the goofy antics within it makes it to where it's not Batman. It is a parody of Batman, in my opinion. So,
Oh, it was
as
supposed
much
to
as
be.
I love, as much as I love Adam West, I do not count that as Batman.
It was supposed to be a parody. It was supposed to be campy. Yeah, that was the intent.
Mhm.
Yeah, and it was and I'm sorry, but because that's the way it was supposed to be, because of the fact that they people were not liking comics because they were so dark. I was like, no, I just couldn't. I just no. Every time I watched the Adam West Batman, I'm like, I just cannot get into it because I'm like, this isn't true Batman.
Godspeed. As soon as you said have to get supper, I looked up at the corner of the screen, and yeah, it's almost 1,800 hours. God, how the time flies.
It's only 4:51 here.
Hmm. 5:51 here.
Yeah,
Yep.
5:51 here. You and I are in the same time zone, Fate.
Yeah,
But
I personally am getting just now arrived at the
They.
feed store to get feed for my horse. Says
Winnie, Winnie.
no, but I should probably get going too. I'm
Yeah,
going to
they
be really, really
unfortunately you
hungry
show up
soon.
right at the tail end here. God, we're so sorry about that one. But it's good to have you by anyway.
Oh, I'm more than happy to come on. Um, I was upset about last night. I also don't think that I think Dr. Jones actually understood everything I said. He's just trying to be shocked and horrified about everything to get out of having to talk about it. You know? Because
Possibly,
he's been wrong, he's been called out, he's been criticized, and he can't deal with it.
I know just by the look on his face and the things he said that he definitely did not like the fact that I came out and said that I disagree with things. Disagree with positions of his, and
Yeah.
I
And it's
do
because
very vehemently.
he wants everyone to be on the show, just be a yes man and be like, "Oh, you're so right, Dr. Jones."
Because say what you will about FFRF, they are not a bunch of bigots. They are not the KKK. Um, they have, okay, I'll call it a mission, and it is to get the wall between religion and government maintained, and keep the separation going as it should be.
Well, how else are politicians supposed to represent a diverse country unless everyone is converted to Christianity?
Well, there are some of those politicians who would want that, yeah. And
No, that doesn't work for me.
I'm going to say it again, as I said many times to him. The whole Bayview Cross thing, the whole Ten Commandments on courthouse grounds, that's all we're in charge here. So you Buddhists, you Muslims, you atheists, you Jains, you Discordians, whatever, get with the program or fuck off.
One thing that he does that I don't like, he'll cut you off and he'll change the subject and you never get to say what you were going to say.
Yes, yeah, I've
I
noticed. I've
hate
noticed.
that.
And that's just another apologetics tactic.
Yeah, yeah. What better way to make a point than not let you speak?
Because I know Ray does that. Yeah, Eric does that as well. So it's great to put Dr. Jones in the same company as Ray Comfort and Eric Hovind, but
I'm
there
sure
he
he'd be
is.
thrilled.
But there he is, as far as that goes. And well, he's personally interacted with Eric. Ray, no. I've been the one to take on Ray, but that's another story. I have two videos to
Well, that's
respond
why
to
I
him.
talked over him last night. Because I wasn't about to let him do it to me.
And it's probably the best thing to have done. Yeah, because you need to complete the point.
Hmm. He was horrified. I don't care.
Um, it just saddens me. I'll say it again. I mean, the position I'm in right now
Yeah.
feels like trying to escape from an abusive relationship. But as you've said, it's pretty much what it is.
Well, let's put it this
Well,
way. Whether you stay or
before
not,
you continue,
go
I
ahead.
really,
I
I
will
really
say
don't
that I
want
gotta
to
go.
stay. That's the thing. So it's just a matter of bringing myself to do it.
What did you say, Russ?
I was just saying that I gotta go. I gotta go in and get the bag of feed I need to get.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thanks
I
for
already
being
love y'all
by.
guys.
Thanks for
Always.
coming by,
Well, thank
sweetie. It
you.
was it was great to have you, and
Hmm.
we are going to have more of these
Powwows.
discussiones.
Hmm.
Yeah, of
And
course.
I've got to do some more content as far as that goes. But Yeah, what a way to get back into what a way to get back on the air than with
Yeah.
this. Huh?
Right.
Yeah.
Alrighty. Well, I love y'all guys, but well, y'all gals, and
I get the point. I get the point.
yeah. But I got us to get, so I will see y'all on the next one.
Okay.
Yay.
Bye.
Peter saying,
Right. Bye.
Um, I'm gonna get
I
going
guess it's
too,
just you.
except for one thing, Diana.
Yes, dear.
Whether you're staying at the place or not is entirely up to you, and I will support your decision. However, if I go to watch and he is
No,
treating you like a
I'm not gonna
doormat,
shut. I'm not gonna shut you down. No, that is given that I stick around, which is
right?
highly in doubt at this point.
Well, you can say what you want, one way or the other. Um, but if I see him treating you the way he's been treating you, I am going to again say, Dr. Jones, you're browbeating her, because if I see it, I'm gonna say it.
Well, thank you for that.
I
And
don't like it.
what really amazed me is his answer of, "Well, I don't see how I'm doing that." I mean, even I saw it. Even I noticed what he was doing.
It was
I just wasn't saying anything.
so uncomfortable to watch. I mean, that's like watching someone get verbally abused when they don't deserve it.
Yeah, I get you.
Because that kind of manipulation is more than uncomfortable. And I think, well, to be honest, there's a lot of us who have been treated that way, either as children, young adults, or adults, depending on what's your personality type and who you spend your time with.
Why do you think I've stuck around so long?
Because you're used to it.
Yep.
As I said, stay or go, I still love you.
And no accounting for taste.
But if I see it, I will say something. Because if Dr. Jones ever watches this, treating Diana like that is wrong. Very, very wrong. But my dear, I have to go because I have to eat.
Yeah, same here. Because when Beach mentioned food, that's when I looked up in the corner of the screen and noticed it was almost 6 p.m.
Hmm.
And well, I have to go to Squall Mart to get some food, and I hate going to Squall Mart, but what are you gonna do?
Did you ever get
Um,
your eggs last night?
no, I didn't. That's what I
Oh,
have to go for. Get a dozen eggs, pound of sausage, and that'll be my meals for the next few days. I'm I'm working and I'm experimenting. What I'm trying to do is get to a point where I'm not gaining 5 pounds every time I eat. You know, I'd like to lose maybe a half pound or a third of a pound per day. And it's just working out the numbers. It's just working out what to eat such that I can make that steady loss because I need, when it's difficult to bend down and tie your own shoes, you've got to lose some weight.
yeah.
And at the point now, I'd like to make it about 40. Although I'm curious what would happen if over time I lost 60. Because I was down to 165 at one time and very comfortable there. But I was also 22 years old at the time.
Yeah.
So,
I never want to get down to my thinnest ever again.
well, the 165 is not my thinnest. I've been down to 140 and I felt like shit. So I'm
Yeah.
not going down there again.
That
That's when
one
food
point
was
I
hard to
was
come by.
106, and that was awful.
Okay.
I have friends who say if I ever get that, then again, they're gonna force feed me.
Okay. Yeah, because I've always been big. Um, I mean, shit, I broke 150 as a preteen.
Wow, I can't imagine. But
Um,
height, body type, etc., muscle mass, that all matters.
yeah, because well, when I graduated, well, no, not when
Diana,
I
I
graduated.
gotta eat.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, that's right.
sorry.
No, you really do have to eat, yeah, because you are a diabetic.
Yeah, I'm
Boom,
sorry. I love
eat
you.
now.
Bye.
Take
Yes,
care.
ma'am. But yeah, you're the best. Talk to you
Danke,
soon.
schön.
Bye.
Looking forward to it. Enjoy. And everybody over in the side chat, I thank all of you for coming by. I want to make this sort of thing a semi regular occurrence, getting on and doing a live stream about, just about anything. And I promise I am going to put the work in trying to get the content out. I haven't done shit in the last 2 months, and I know it. And I can say that it's all about the major depressive episode, but you can only say that so many times before it becomes an excuse. So I'll give it a try to finish at least one of my scripts, shoot the damn thing, and put it out there. And maybe that's what you'll see Sunday morning instead of the place. But in the meantime, thank you again for coming. And I hope to see you all again. Thanks a lot, troops. See you on the other side.